Good afternoon, everyone. Recorded by Richter here, back with a brand new segment for you. This time I'm back with another concert review, and that would be for the GNX tour with Kendrick Lamar and SZA. Got the hoodie on right here, got my merch. SZA sitting on top of the GNX, pretty cool. It's a really thick sweatshirt though, I'm a little warm right now. I had to turn the AC off so you don't hear it in the background. So hopefully I can make it through this video without getting too hot. But anyhow, so if you're unfamiliar with this channel so far, I am a pretty massive Kendrick Lamar fan, although I don't dedicate all of my videos to him like a lot of people you see on media platforms. But I definitely wanted to get on here to talk about this GNX tour that I recently attended at Ford Field in Detroit, where the Lions play football. I kind of emphasize that venue because I made a smaller video on this before the show. It's just kind of mind-blowing because artists like Kendrick don't usually ascend to this level of success. Artists that are deep in their messaging, that don't make cookie-cutter poppy rap tunes, don't usually get to this success level. So to see Kendrick go from playing small theaters where I first saw him on Good Kid, Mad City tour to now 60,000 attendance football stadiums and baseball stadiums all over the country, and now it's going to be extending on into different parts of the world. So it's just totally insane, man, and I couldn't be prouder and happier that he's doing it like that. He hasn't compromised any of his beliefs or any of his values in order to get to this level, and I super appreciate that. And another reason I wanted to get this video recorded today is, as I record it, June 17th is actually Kendrick's 38th birthday. Him and I are just a day short of a month apart in age. So happy birthday to Kendrick. This might not be out on his birthday, but happy birthday to Kendrick, and then also Tupac, whose birthday was yesterday. So I just wanted to show some love there. But anyways, let's get to this concert. I don't want to waste your guys' time. I didn't write anything for this one. This one's just going to come straight from here because I've been following Kendrick since the Kendrick Lamar EP on my iPod Classic that sits over there in the corner. It literally only works when it's plugged into a power source, so that's how I keep that thing alive. But yeah, man, like the first time I saw Kendrick was at Bonnaroo in 2011, and he didn't even have Good Kid, Mad City out yet. Overly Dedicated and Section 80 was out, and Swimming Pools as a single was out, but the album hadn't dropped yet. And that was one of the most magnificent days of my life as far as live music goes, because all on the same stage in a row, where Yellow Wolf was popping back then. It was before he kind of got into the douchey country rap. Yellow Wolf was on the stage, Danny Brown, then Kendrick Lamar, then Alabama Shakes, all in a row on the same stage at Bonnaroo. It was insane. It was so much fun, man. It was like one of the best times ever. But anyways, let's fast forward. You know, I saw him there, and then I saw him at the Fillmore Good Kid, Mad City tour era, when it was actually on a night that Bud Light was putting on this like 50 and 50 thing, where it was like there was 50 concerts going on in all 50 states, and the Detroit one was one of the ones that was broadcast on Line, and it was Kendrick Lamar here at the Fillmore, and I was in the front row for that, and that was so mind-blowing. And so that was my second show. I didn't get to see him when To Pimp a Butterfly came out, because that only did select cities. I think he did it with a live band in select cities. But then I got to see him after Damn came out. Actually, I saw all of TDE, because they did that TDE tour that went through the amphitheaters. That was, you know, Q was there, and Soul was there, J-Rock was there, Kendrick was there. I think SZA wasn't, because that was when she had her vocal injury thing. So I didn't get to see SZA. But fast forward through Damn, I get to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and me and two of my best friends, E-Man and Sean, we all got floor tickets to see him at Little Caesars Arena. So we were like 5 feet away from him for that one too. That one was awesome. And you know, now GNX is out. He's defeated Drake. He's the biggest rapper in the world. It's crazy, this level. So, you know, my girlfriend Jen has also gone down this Kendrick journey with me. She didn't really follow it before I met her, but there's a podcast called Dissect Podcast that does these super comprehensive breakdowns of albums. Each season focuses on one album. Each episode focuses on one song on the album, and it does it in chronological order. And I don't think there's anyone in media doing a better job than Cole Kushner from Dissect Podcast right now. I mean, it's just unbelievable the work that he puts into getting every little detail correct about these albums. And it makes Kendrick's work that much more impressive once you've like really spent this much time with each song and each episode. And so she's listened to the season on To Good Kid, the one on Damn, and To Pimp a Butterfly, and now we're on the Mr. Morale season. And so she was just as excited for this concert as I was. And so we wanted to do it right, so we got a hotel room for the night down there, and so we didn't have to like rush around. We just wanted to be in the city all day and not have to worry about driving in and out, and worry about parking and all that, because parking is insane on big concerts now. But so we go down there and we get to the show like right on time. We missed Mustard. We didn't get to see DJ Mustard, which is all right. I wanted to see him and everything, but I think it worked out even better because we got in our seats like 2 minutes before the show started, and it was so perfect. No waiting around for nothing. We sit down, lights go out, smoke starts going, all of a sudden you hear the opening track from GNX, Whacked Out Murals, and slowly building from the bottom of the stage is the GNX coming out, and you can hear Kendrick rapping, but you can't see him. And then, smoke goes off and it reveals that he was rapping from inside the GNX. He gets out, goes in on that.
Riding in my GNX with a little baby in the tape deck. It's gonna be a sweet love. Fuck apologies, I wanna see you geeked up. Don't acknowledge me, then maybe we can say it's fair. Take it to the internet and I'ma take it there, period.
Goes in on Euphoria. Dude, he did all 6 minutes of Euphoria without, that song doesn't have any real hooks or anything like that besides the I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. That was really the only kind of hookish thing that's in that song. It's really just like 6 minutes of pure rapping.
You're a master manipulator and a bitch will lie too. But don't tell no lie about me, and I won't tell true about you.
And he did all 6 minutes of it. And I think Kendrick is such a genius because he doesn't use backing tracks, he doesn't use hype men. The way that he's figured out how to be able to rap all his lyrics and still maintain breath control is he'll omit a word every now and again so that way he can take a breath, which is so smart because it really doesn't take away from the performance at all. I think it's amazing. And so he does all 6 minutes of Euphoria, then he goes into some other stuff, he goes into Humble, and the way they had it set up was really cool to me because it wasn't like SZA opened and did her set and then Kendrick came out and did his set. No, it started actually with Kendrick and he did about 5 songs, and then all of a sudden, the GNX had disappeared while he was doing his other thing, and then it rises back up, covered in like vines and moss and stuff, and that's got SZA with it, and it has her kind of energy. She's got that fairy, hippie, bug theme, like very earthy and organic kind of theme about her. And so it was really cool to see the GNX laced in that like that moth and like earthiness, and she comes out and they do 30 for 30 together, and then SZA does a gang of songs, and then they just kind of traded back and forth like that all night long. And I just commend them so much because you had one of the coolest graphic screens I'd ever seen behind them. It was, if it's like 8K or something, it was like mind-blowing. It's also on angles, so it kind of gave it like these like depth of field a little bit, and it just was so like bright and vibrant. Like the scenery that they kept putting on the back, especially during SZA's sets, was like super gorgeous, man. I was like really into it. And then not to mention, you know, we had close seats, but even with close seats, if you're not on the floor, it's still a little bit back. So also had Kendrick on the screens and SZA on the screen, so you could get a nice view in case you were far back. But it's just really wild to see a concert of someone that's really popular at a place like Ford Field. The only time I'd ever seen a show at Ford Field prior to this was for a Metallica concert. Other than that, I'd only been there for Lions games, and it is unbelievable to hear people singing "Humble" back to them, singing like, all the Euphoria parts. Man, love how Euphoria starts with the kind of subdued, downplayed verse, and then it just once that beat drops and the screen was opening up, I got full body chills, man, like full body chills. It was just like so insane to watch that. So, shouts to Kendrick, shouts to SZA, and show was a 3-hour show. They started maybe a little bit after 8 and they got done at about 11. It was really incredible. Not Like Us was mind blowing to hear with that many people singing. Some of SZA's stuff, I will give SZA a lot of credit. She had half the building at least, I would say. I want to give her the credit that where it's due, because hearing them girls sing her songs back to her, that was magical too, man. It was really something, like it gave me chills to hear that many people singing in unison together. And I really just love how SZA with SOS and Beyond has really maintained artistry and doesn't let herself get boxed in. She's got stuff that almost sounds like country-ish. She's got stuff that sounds pop punkish, like Paramore style. I think that's, shout out to Jen, my girlfriend. She actually had mentioned that. She was like, this kind of gives me a Paramore vibe, the kind of pop punky one that she performs. You know, she's up there on Stage Riser. She's getting strapped into this big lift that's, you know, flying her around in the stadium. It's such a spectacle to see. Club venues and theater venues are always going to be a little bit better on the sound and the intimacy, but it was something to behold, and I'm so glad that I saw it. And I've seen every stage of his elevation. And also, like I had mentioned before, SZA was sick on the tour when TDE did the whole label tour, so it was awesome to finally be able to check her off my list, because I've been listening to her since the very beginning. My friend Stephanie put me on to that one day way back in the day, and I was like, who is this? She's like, SZA, this new artist, she's amazing. And man, couldn't agree more. That first album is so good. I love Z. And you know, Kendrick and SZA have built quite a catalog together now over the years. They have a lot of songs together. I know Punch has been comparing them to Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell of this generation and stuff. And man, I like that kind of stuff, man. I'm really into those kind of comparisons, because this level of stardom they've gotten to is inspiring to watch. I'll move on from that. But then it was really cool because I think that they had a couple days off or something in between our show and the next one, because I'm pretty sure Detroit was the last US date, and then they crossed over the border and went over to Canada, which, if you're unfamiliar with Detroit, from downtown Detroit in Hart Plaza, you can see Canada. It's just over the Detroit River. One of the cool things about a lot like Movement Festival and stuff, a lot of the backdrop is you're seeing this beautiful scenery behind you with all this water, and the Detroit Princess is a huge ferry that goes up and down. It lights up different colors and stuff. And it was cool to see that Kendrick was jogging down the Detroit River walk the next day and posing with little kids, man, like that little kid that he was running with and high-fiving with. He's never gonna forget that. I couldn't help but to think about Kendrick's story about his dad taking him to the Compton swap meet to see Tupac and Dre film a video when he was 9, and how that inspired his whole rap career. What if that does that for that little kid, man? I mean, he was so cool to that little kid. He ran with him, he's giving him high fives, waving at his mom, being super friendly and polite. And that just speaks to the kind of person that Kendrick Lamar is, man. I really am happy with myself for betting right on this guy, man. I'm really, really impressed. I used to be a big Drake fan too. I saw Drake twice before he even had an album out. And the problem with Drake for me, and I'm not a hater. If Drake could rebound from this, maybe, and I'm not sitting here gonna crush up Drake all day, every day. I don't believe in that kind of stuff. But my biggest issue with his music is over the years, as I got older, his music didn't really progress. It kind of stayed in the exact same lane, complaining about the same stuff, talking about the same stuff. It didn't evolve. And I would love to just hear Drake evolve. I want to hear Drake tell us. I would love it if his next album, he told us exactly how shitty this made him feel. Be honest, man. I can't stand all this dishonesty in music, man. I just want like more vulnerability out of some of these artists. I was really bummed when Travis Scott put out Utopia and didn't say a single word about what happened at Astroworld. Like, how you got nothing to say? Like, that's just crazy to me, man. I don't know. I mean, who am I to tell him what to rap about? This is just my opinion, obviously, but I would appreciate some more depth out of artists that are as big as Travis Scott and Drake. And I think that's what's so impressive about Kendrick, is he managed to continue to give you depth on these projects. Even GNX, like GNX is probably his least deep album, but there's even on that, there's still cuts that are super intense. Like Reincarnated, that's like one of the best rap songs I've heard in a long time.
Reincarnated on the surf, 100 plus, body of the body, listen, let's take you back to Michigan in 1947.
Man at the Garden, one of the best rap songs I've heard in a long time. Even Whacked Out Murals, I love the energy of how that starts off. Gloria, Hard Part 6, all the fun, dancey, West Coasty sounding bops on that album. There's just as much deep stuff too. So I'm really just a giant fan. I've got my first album over there. I got Good Kid, Mad City right there. And I got GNX back there. And for my birthday, I got these cool pins that have all of his album covers on them from Jen. And so I put them on the chair there to put them on display a little bit. So that's kind of where I'm at with this Kendrick stuff. It is crazy to see that after the Detroit show, he goes over to Toronto, sells out 2 back-to-back nights at the Rogers Center, and Drake has never even done that. Like, that is crazy. All those like whack-ass media people, like academics, Maul from Rory and Maul, oh, he's gonna get booed. Why would people pay a ton of money to go to a concert to boo someone? That's like the most ultimate loser shit I ever heard in my life. Oh, Maul. No one can take that guy's credibility seriously anymore after the way he handled the whole Drake thing. Man, you gotta be able to be objective, man. You got to. You have to if you're in media. But that makes it even funnier to me, that line in Euphoria where he says, tried to cease on desist on that, like that record. Oh, what, you didn't like that record? Back to back, I like that record. I'm gonna get back to that for the record. And then to have the headline come out that he sells back to back nights out in Toronto and Drake's hometown. Crazy. Just crazy. Kendrick is a genius. I can't wait for what he does next. I kind of have a feeling that it'll probably be back to a mission that he's been on since Good Kid, Mad City. I think that he's going to go right back into depth and conceptual albums. At least that's what I would love to see again, because Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers is literally one of my favorite albums of any genre, by any person. You know, some people say that album didn't hit for them, and I think it's because some people are just not ready for the messaging yet. That album is deep, and it'll have you looking straight in the mirror, and if you're not ready for that, that will make you feel very uncomfortable. But for me, that album really helped me quit drinking, I'm the one that helped myself quit drinking, but that one helped me kind of realize the way I'd been living, and it was a tool for me to get into a healthier lifestyle. I was still living downtown Detroit, 1 block off Woodward, off John R. Street at the time, and it was like 3 miles down to where Tiger Stadium is from where I used to live. And so I would throw that thing on my headphones, I would run to Hart Plaza, go down by the Detroit River and back, listening to that, just being super inspired, and it really helped me change my life. So I'm indebted to Kendrick in a way, I feel like, for making music that has always inspired his fans to live a better life. Even with GNX, 6 miles a day, condition in my wind, I deserve it all. Like, when he says I deserve it all on Man at the Garden, I think he was literally talking about like a mantra for his fans to be able to use as a tool. I don't think he was necessarily trying to come from like an arrogant place. He was like, I think he realizes that his fans are just a part of his music as he is, and I just really just appreciate that, man, and all the hard work and deep dives and Easter eggs and all that stuff. I really, as a fan of music and someone that really studies music, I really appreciate that. And that's all I really have for you today. I've got some more. I actually have a couple movie reviews coming out, where they will be out by the time you see this video. I did one for Friendship with Paul Rudd and Tim Robinson. I did one for this independent film called Tornado. It's like an independent samurai flick. And then I've got a couple more things in the works right now, more album reviews, more Detroit stuff. So expect a bunch more from me. And if you could like and subscribe to that, that would be dope. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.